tonight, I wanted to tell you a story about a man. Just follow me for a second. So there's a man that lived in the town of Kells. And this man had everything that he needed to live a life worth talking about. He had cars, he had a good job, he had a loving wife, he had healthy children, he had friends, he got to have a good time. He had everything that he needed. And in the town of Kells, it was always shining outside. The sun was always out. It was always a beautiful day. But one day, it stormed. And after that day, it kept raining. The yards was flooded so much that the friends couldn't come around, and the yards was flooded so much that you couldn't even operate the vehicles because they couldn't move. The kids were no longer pleasant because it was raining. We all know how kids are. When they're trapped, they weren't those good little kids anymore. But this man in the city of Kells, he knew how to have a good time, and in his mind, it was still sunny outside. So he walked outside to look for his friends, and he walked outside to look for his cars, and he walked outside to look for the sun. And when he was faced with the rain, he realized that he could no longer move. That instead of putting on his rain boots, he wore his sneakers outside. So now he was stuck in the mud. So what did the guy of City of Kells do? He called out for his friends, and he called out for his children, and he called out for his siblings, and he called out for the dog, and he had the keys to his car, but he couldn't reach it. And he had money in his pocket, but nowhere to spend it. And he was stuck. He was stuck in the mud, and he couldn't move, and he didn't know what to do. Years went by. The sun came out again, but not as bright as it used to be. The kids came back around, but they weren't babies anymore. And the friends came back, but they weren't as close anymore. And while all of this was going on and things were returning back to normal, the man in the city of Kells looked down and realized that he was still stuck in the mud. So the man, to occupy his mind and to get his mind off of the fact that he hasn't moved for years and that he's stuck in this place, well, he started drinking. Because if I can flood out these thoughts, then I'll be okay. So he started drinking and still hanging with those friends that left him years ago. He started drinking and not noticing the changes of his children in that time when it was raining and the effects that it caused on his family. And while he was drinking, he realized that I'm getting used to this drinking thing, and I'm starting to be able to think. So he started sleeping with women. He slept with her because she made me feel loved, and I slept with her because she took care of my every needs. And I'll sleep with her because, oh, she don't care about commitments. And I slept with her because she didn't satisfy me anymore. But then I had to sleep with this one because none of them satisfy me anymore. But wait, I'm starting to think about the fact that I'm stuck in the mud. And now the drinking isn't covering it up, and the sexing isn't helping me forget about it and feel better. So I'm going to start smoking a little bit so I can escape the universe. So he started smoking and drinking and sexing and not facing the fact that He's stuck in the mud. And that's the end of the story. So every story doesn't have a happy ending. And I know you're probably figuring out, well, what's the point of this story? A lot of us in this world, we have voids. And I looked up the definition of a void, and the definition of void is complete emptiness. Complete emptiness. Complete emptiness. And a lot of us had fathers, so we know the typical story about, well, women sleep around because they have their dad isn't there. And they're looking for that comfort, and they're looking for someone to validate them as a woman and make me feel like a queen that I am and love me. But what about those voids and those decisions that we bring upon ourselves? You work in a 9-to-5 knowing you should be a photographer. You living back at home knowing an opportunity presented itself in Japan for you. You were born a visual artist, but you're an RN. Okay, let's get a little deeper. Your dad was an alcoholic, and it affected you. But you never had the conversation with him or anyone, especially God, as to how it affected you. No one ever understood you as a child. You never fit in. So you try harder to fit in instead of just realizing that you're different. And maybe you shouldn't fit in at all. You should be one and stand alone, or you should be somewhere else where there's others like you. But what do? Whatever your void is, your emptiness is, we know it exists because you're not at peace. You're not happy. But instead of facing that void head on, we occupy, we drink, we smoke, we fornicate, we commit adultery, we work that easy job. We do stuff that doesn't require us to think. We let somebody else raise our kids. We don't commit to anything. We don't read books. We don't do anything that will help us face that void. And the sad part about it is we get so used to occupying our time that we don't realize there's a void there. Until someone tells you, or until someone leaves you, or until you have nothing left. Where am I going with this? You can continue to eat yourself to 300 pounds. You can continue to drink that bottle till the well runs dry. You can continue to smoke that pot and get locked up and arrested 1,000,000 times. You can continue to cheat on your wife. You can continue to not take care of your kids. You can continue until you explode. But the void is still there. You have to find a way to commit yourself to face that void. In corporate America, we say you're firefighting. Basically, you are identifying the symptoms, the red flags. You're putting those fires out. I'm solving these. I'm handling these problems. But the real thing is, can you dig down deep? And this is corporate America term, the root cause. What is the root cause of you being an alcoholic? What is the root cause of you sleeping around? What is the root cause of you not being happy? What is it? I don't have an answer for you. But I can tell you this. You need to talk to your maker. I can tell you this. You need to take accountability for your actions. Nobody is forcing you to live this life that you are choosing to live. But you. I can put a gun to your face right now and say, give me your money. And you got three choices. You're going to give me your money, you're going to run away, or you're going to fight back. Are you going to fight back? You can give in. You can run away from your problems. Are you going to fight back? Because we all got them. We all have situations. We all have issues. We all have things within ourselves that we have to face. But how are you facing them? Is it everybody else's fault? Is it your boss's fault you didn't get that promotion? Is it your mother's fault that you don't feel like you're pretty? Is it your daddy's fault that you're now the deadbeat? Is it your boyfriend's fault that you think being abused is okay? Is it your family's fault that you are not financially stable because you were never taught to be? Is it Satan's fault that you don't have a relationship with God? What is that void that you're running away from? Are you going to run away? Are you going to give me your life? Or are you going to fight back? Stop occupying your time. Stop wasting your life. Face your voids. Face you. Take accountability for your life. Do something with your life. God gave you everything you need. It's inside of you. What are you doing with it? Don't continue to kill that gift that He's given inside of you. Don't continue to affect or deflect and hurt those around you and pass that curse on to your kids and pass that hate on to people that love you. Face yourself. Find the root cause. Or you can be that man in the city of Kells, stuck in the mud, alone, hurt, confused, and broken.